Shut up. What's happening, folks? It's Tuesday night. Time to talk some Texans talking football. You guys know me. I'm Loudmouth of the South, SAJ, coming to you live from Aladdin's Castle Studios here in San Antonio, Texas. And this guy...
What's up, everybody? I'm BD. This week I'm coming at you from the Hemisphere Arena Studios.
Nice.
Hope you've all had a great week. And you know what? Dude, we've missed talking to you guys. We've been off for a couple of weeks. So it's good to get back over here.
We have. And in fact, we're going to start doing this a little bit more often. But as you know, we've got connections in, several different areas and stuff like that. Different leagues, different, kind of things going on and whatever. We definitely want to do a couple of shout outs at the beginning of the show. Just say hi to some of our friends. First and foremost, we want to give a shout out to the X-Fans Legion, of which we're a proud member of that network. So guys, thanks for having us. Thanks for supporting us. And we definitely want to do a shout out to our own Ginger Billy, Luke Swain, Flexin' Texan. What's up, baby? Get some of them guns. And then I believe, Brian, you had a shout out for somebody special.
That's right. Found out another friend of ours, good old Hollywood, Albert Bynum, enjoys the show. So, shout out to Hollywood.
Where are my glasses at? Shout out. Yes. And then, of course, all you fans that are watching, right? We really appreciate your support and everything. And if it wasn't for you, it'd just be us two loudmouths talking to ourselves, really. And that's okay. But it's even more fun knowing you guys are out there. So
absolutely. We love the interaction, So shout out to all you guys that are watching us, listen to us two idiots just talk for an hour. So
yes. Now, look, Brahma Babe coming to you from a dark living room with no power. Kind of concerned about that, but I guess make the check out to CPS and then they'll turn your lights on for you.
That's right.
And then Jackie, right there. You cannot forget the 210 Brahmasita.
That's right. She's over here waiting for you to press the play button, waiting patiently for it.
One of the most important supporters of our show, just because she doesn't make fun of us afterwards, and that we really appreciate. But speaking of shout outs, we also want to give a shout out to a couple of schools that we definitely support here in town. And that would be the Veterans Memorial Patriots, who are going to be in the playoffs this weekend against Flower Bluff, I believe it is. And that should be an incredible game. We also want to give out a shout out to Rocket Nation, right? I guess it would be more like that, so you guys can see it. But they're in the playoffs also, somehow, with a losing record.
Interesting. Somehow.
As much as I love Judson, I have a feeling that after this weekend's game, this will be the last game of the season for them. It's going to be rough. Now, one other thing that I wanted to do is, being that we're talking about, high school games and stuff like that, I've got to share this with the audience, Brian. This one is bad.
This is brutal.
Now, can you folks see that? Where is here? We're going to put this up here.
Scroll up.
We're going to spotlight. We are going to spotlight, and we are going to roll down to right there.
Golly.
Guys, this is a high school football game. It was a playoff game in Virginia. And Phoebus, we believe it was pronounced, against the Eagles. Let me see if I can see exactly. It looks like
Jamestown
yeah,
Eagles.
Jamestown Eagles against Phoebus, and I love how their mascot is a wrestler. You see that guy right there?
Wrestler is that a gorilla?
I
Oh yeah,
looks
no,
like
it's a
a
wrestler. I can
it
see
looks
it.
like a
Yeah,
wrestler to me.
yeah.
Um,
Oh, one of my favorite comments was, man, if I lost to a team that bad with a logo like that, I'd just quit football.
so let me see if I can find that. I want to share Max Prep's page with you. Okay. Let's put this up here. Can you, if you guys can see that, look at this right here. No class coach and shame on their league for allowing this game to ever take place. Like these are some of the comments people are saying to these people. Okay. The other team had a 1 win and 8 loss record. How are they even in the playoffs? Safety's picking up 24 yards before he reaches the end zone on the play. Probably not a good sign. And it gets worse from there. So we're not going to spend a whole bunch of time, punishing you people with having to see that. Um, right here, Jackie, I agree. Take a shot at the Eaglets. Um, but I don't understand how that game was allowed to even get that bad. I mean, they had to have been up 50 points at halftime. I mean, at some point you would think that the
I
ref would step
I
it
think it was 82 to nothing at halftime.
up. Okay.
If I remember when I was looking at the article about the game.
Yeah. So at
So
some point
they took off their foot off the gas. They only scored 22 points in the second half.
they probably put their band members in and still scored points. Like
Yeah,
this is ridiculous. How can you possibly have a game like this where you score 104 points against your opponent? Like you would think the league at some point somebody would step in and be like, "Okay, guys, they've had enough." Right?
exactly.
Let's just call it a win and go home. But no, they let them play the entire game, and how demoralizing is that for that Jonestown or whatever team, right? Think about the seniors and stuff that are on that team, and this is their playoff game, and this is
It's
their
their
last game,
last game of their high school career.
and they're forever going to be going down in history as the team who got beat 104 points. Like that's just
Yeah.
bad. So all that to say, there's a lot of ridiculousness going on in football right now. So, speaking of ridiculousness, Brian, do you want to jump into the NFL? You want to go up to college? We should probably talk about college, yes?
Let's talk about college.
Let's talk about college. Hey, I heard something very interesting happened with your Texas A&M Aggies.
Yeah, they decided that they were tired of paying a coach to do absolutely nothing with an incredible recruiting class. So they just went ahead and told him to pack sand. And you know what? Here's $76 million as you go out the door.
How
But
much was that again?
$76 million to not coach the team. And like I said, I don't need $76 million. I'll take one to not coach the team. If they just want to throw money around to people to not coach, I'll gladly take a share of that.
I'll even go so far as to say I'm willing to split that with you. I'd take 500,000 and you take
Dude, no
500,000 to not
kidding.
coach
No
the team.
kidding.
What's
But
up? Not Florida Brian anymore. Hey,
hey, yeah, what's up? Hey, you know what? Speaking of, Brian,
say it.
I saw on Facebook, congrats.
It's Facebook official.
It's
You can
Facebook
say it.
official, congrats on the little upcoming baby Brahma.
Exactly. That is so awesome, Brian.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Warren, I'm going to post your comment because I like you, but this is speculation and it ain't happening. Okay. Right here. Jeff Traylor is, in fact, he has been mentioned in the comment or in the conversation to take over A&M.
Fully support that. Fully support that.
You shut your mouth,
Fully
okay?
support. Come on.
I'm gonna whoop you. Plain and simple, I'm gonna whoop you, okay?
You know who is in the conversation, and this Jay, this is what I told you about. Absolutely, and I understand media as it is today. Obviously, it's all about hot takes, and you want to get your clicks on social media and
What's up,
all that stuff.
Marcos?
Hey, what's up, Marcos? But this freaking article or notification that I saw, and I didn't click on it because I wasn't going to give them the satisfaction. I just saw a notification, and I think rolled my eyes so hard they like fell out of my head. But Stephen A. Dumbass Smith says, "Do whatever you need to do to go get Deion Sanders from Colorado." Have you lost your damn mind? Absolutely not. No freaking way.
Brian, I'm going to be honest. As much as I hate this idea, I also don't hate it. Okay,
You
think
shut
about
your
it. No, no,
mouth.
no, no, no.
No,
But think about it
you
though.
just don't
Think
want it
about it.
because you don't want the Aggies to get the trailer. All right, that's your only motivation for
It
liking this
it
idea.
is it
That's the only
partly.
reason this would be a good idea is so the Aggies wouldn't get trailer.
It is partly. But you and I are at least somewhat close in age, right? With a couple of years difference.
Yeah.
But you and I remember the swagger of the Aggies back in the '90s, right?
Oh,
And
wrecking crew
yeah,
all
even
day.
going into the 2000s, right?
But you know who doesn't have the wrecking crew? Freaking Deion Sanders.
But you just said yourself this great recruiting class that he had. Why couldn't he have the wrecking crew?
He should have. You know what? Uh, he should have had it. And at some point, sometimes he did. It was good, but no. Obviously,
I'm
Fisher.
I'm talking about with A&M's roster right now.
Yeah,
Why couldn't he go out and do that with the kids there right now?
because he's not that good of a coach. All right,
Because
he is more off. He's more of an offensive coach than he is a defensive coach.
right, okay. But that being said, as long as he has a good defensive coordinator, that can make up for his shortcomings as a defensive player, right? Well, a defensive coach. Let's put it that
No,
way.
no, no.
I love it. I love it. But this is, again, going back to what I just said previously. The reason why I would support that is, honestly, in my opinion, I don't think that there's a much more energizing move to get that swagger back that the Aggies used to have than to bring a loudmouth like Deion Sanders back into the equation.
But I don't want
Okay?
a
And
loudmouth. I don't want the loudmouth swagger. I want the on the field swagger. I want the
oh,
beat you
I
down and demoralize you. I don't want the crap talking in the media. I don't want that. You
right,
know?
right. That part
So,
would need to be reined back in.
and do you think he would? Absolutely not.
Well,
Absolutely not. He feeds on it.
I
That
mean,
he loves every bit of the media attention and the media hate and all that stuff that he's getting. He loves it. He thrives on it. But I don't want that on my team. I want beat you down on the field, be quiet off the field. That's what I want.
you're not necessarily wrong. Um, give me a second. I'm updating our ticker. You see it?
No, I don't see it. Hold on.
Give it a second to catch up. You're going to absolutely hate me.
Well, I don't see it on our
Okay.
screen
It,
here.
it just says Deion Sanders for A&M coach.
Oh, I hate you. I just saw it. You son of a bitch.
I know. Let's talk about the realities of things here. There's going to be a couple of candidates that are going to be perfect for it. Unfortunately, Jeff Traylor is one that would be perfect for it. We're talking about this swagger. Jeff Traylor is a very hungry, very confident, but very humble coach at the same time,
Yeah.
right? He definitely has something to prove. And he's already proven so much just coming from, the small little Texas town that he came from as an offensive coordinator to be head coach of one of the fastest growing programs in collegiate history and to win as many times as they have. Like, he has proven beyond a shadow of a doubt that he can take nothing and make it into a diamond.
Oh,
So,
absolutely.
so he
You know,
definitely,
he would be good. I don't think the Aggies would choose him. They possibly should, for every reason that you said,
mhm.
but I don't know if he's a big enough name from casting out Jimbo Fisher and all that. Like they need to get a big name with like a solid reputation. You know, so. I don't know who that name's going to be. Um,
Well, it's certainly not going to be Jim Harbaugh.
oh God, no.
Um, so Bleacher Report has a list of 13 potential candidates, and there's some good names in here. One name I'm not seeing. So Jeff Traylor definitely is one of them that's mentioned. Uh, Dan Lanning from Oregon. He's a pretty solid option. There's a couple of Lane Kiffin from Ole Miss is another potential.
No, I'm gonna pass on Lane.
Um, uh, Lance Leopold from Kansas. He basically started out at Wisconsin Whitewater and worked his way up. He's a potential. But the Bleacher Report is saying it might be a little bit of an odd fit. Uh, just the program differences and everything. However, they're saying that he shouldn't necessarily be counted out because he's achieved success everywhere he's gone. So there could be that potential as well. And then here's one oddball name for you to think about. What about Urban Meyer?
No, 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 no.
Okay. So
I just
yeah.
I he's a douchebag, so no.
So yeah, things are up in the air. But definitely there's going to be some interesting changes that are going to happen in College Station. So keep your eyes on the Fighting Aggies. Uh, long history there. Jimbo Fisher, obviously big name in the program, has done a lot with the program. Some of it not so good, arguably, right?
Yeah.
And so now he's out. So who takes the reins, right? That's a drama you're going to want to keep your eyes on. Now, let's bring it back to home a little bit. Let's talk about the University of Incarnate Word, who has been on an absolute tear for most of their season this year. Like this is just crazy. They did lose to UTEP obviously the first week in September, but ever since then, I'm looking at their schedule. They have not lost. I'm sorry, they lost one other game to Nicholls State. And then for whatever reason, they were supposed to play Northwest State or Northwestern State. I don't even know who that. Yeah, Northwestern State Demons, who were 0-6 going into this game on November 11th last weekend. That game got canceled. Not sure exactly why, but it was
Northwestern State said, nah.
probably
Northwestern State's probably said what Jamestown, Virginia should have said.
yeah. And then so their last game of the season is this Saturday, November 18th, and they're playing Houston Christian Huskies. It's a lot of syllables there to try and get out quickly. And Houston Christian going into this game, it does it even have uh their stats? I don't even see their stats on this page. Um, but yeah, so UIW's been on an absolute tear. I don't know if they're eligible for any bowl games or anything. I don't believe they're in a conference where that is an option. But arguably, they're having one hell of a season this year. So shout out to those kids. They're really tearing it up. They've got one more game to go, and arguably they could go 8-2 on the season, which is great for their program.
Oh yeah, yeah, solid season. I think their D3, right?
I
Uh,
believe so. I believe it was
they've got like a playoff. They don't have bowl games per se. They've got like a little playoff system that they do. So
perfect.
they'll probably be high seed in that, and best of luck to them throughout those.
Yep. So let's go a little bit further up I-10 here and talk about our friends over at UTSA, right? Go Runners. I love the Roadrunners. Um, they've been on a bit of a tear ever since their last loss to Tennessee, right? They beat Temple. They beat UAB. They beat Florida Atlantic, of course. They beat East Carolina. They beat North Texas. Then they beat Rice. And every one of them has been a decisive game. Now, our friend Uncle Milton Hope, the voice of the UTSA Roadrunners. Uh, we'll get your comment in just a second, Brian. Let me finish up on UTSA. Um, our friend Uncle Milty did say that UTSA got off to a slow start in the first quarter in that Rice game, but once they got going, and they wound up winning that game decidedly, 34-14. Okay, now it's not over, right? Um, we still have South Florida to play this weekend, and then we've got 17th ranked Tulane on November 24th. That being the case, though, Brian, if they continue the wave that they're riding right now, they're going into a bowl game.
Oh,
You know,
absolutely. They're already bowl eligible. So,
well, I
uh,
mean, one that matters, not
well,
not like the Capri Sun Bowl or anything,
yeah, yeah,
right? Not the Heinz 57 Sauce Bowl, but they're going to be in a pretty nationally recognized bowl game, which again goes back to the brilliance of Jeff Traylor. I don't mean to put him up on a pedestal, but the guy's good, right? Let's
yeah.
be
Oh, he
honest,
is
the guy is
absolutely.
good. Okay, so if Traylor can carry out these last two games, they're going to be playing in a pretty decent bowl and wind up pretty even more respectable than what they were, right?
Yeah, and
So
we talked about it a couple weeks. Like, they're UTSA. They're right there. It, the conference championship is in their hands. Like it's theirs to lose. If they went out, they'll I believe they'll be conference champions. Because they're I are they playing SMU or not?
uh
I know they're playing Tulane. Obviously, I think SMU and them uh, are not playing each other, but depending on tiebreakers. But yeah, you said if they went out, if they're not number one, they'll be number two. So uh, hell of a season for them, especially their first year in the AAC.
yeah. So
So
as of November 4th, they became eligible for a bowl game by trouncing North Texas.
that
And so who they play, we don't know. Obviously, there's still the rest of the season needs to be played out, and then they can decide who they're going to play. But they should wind up with a pretty decent opponent in a bowl game that kind of matters. So, keep your eyes on that. UTSA plays some incredible football. In fact, they're going to be playing this Friday night at 8 p.m. at the Alamo Dome. Um, Somebody may be there at that game. I'm just saying. I'm
who's
just
that?
saying. I
Oh,
don't know if I can tell you. I'm just saying. Uh, but don't worry.
there should be a lot of somebody's at that game.
Yeah.
So
This certain person will still be available for another podcast, and it'll be okay. We'll figure it out somehow, some way. But I'll actually probably, or that person rather, will potentially be working that game. Maybe, I don't know. We'll see what happens. Um, but all that to say, yeah, I'm supposed to be helping out at that game. But I'll find a quiet corner somewhere to jump in and podcast from. It'll be fine. Now, again, two more games, and then we'll see where UTSA lands at. Brian, this is a very good question, right? I know you love movies. That's kind of one of your things. What is the best football movie? So fans, feel free. You're watching, throw in the names of who you think or what the best football movie is. We've had this conversation on some different shows before. It really kind of depends on what you're looking for a football movie, right? I would say arguably Brian's Song is probably one of the best football movies hands down ever made, right? If you're looking for, that little bit grittier side of football, I'd have to say probably Any Given Sunday, right?
any given
Because
Sunday, I like that one.
it shows the ups and downs of what football
Yeah,
life really is all about.
you know, I I I love watching Remember the Titans. You know,
Another solid
that's
movie.
just one of the ones that I can doesn't matter where it's at. If I'm flipping channels or something and it's on, I can stop and watch that. We Are Marshall. We Are Marshall is a good one as well.
Yep.
Um,
Now I hate to say it, but I don't know that I've seen that one.
really,
Yeah, so I'm probably gonna have to watch that one.
you should. That's one of those uh, really good kind of just good solid movies.
Okay.
So
So yeah, I mean, again, it depends on what you're looking for. Like The Longest Yard, the original was really good. I thought the remake was just as good because they didn't try and do the exact same thing. You know, they let the actors kind of put their own little spin on it, and arguably made it a good movie. Because you know how bad some of these remakes can be.
oh yeah.
So, um, but Varsity Blues has a place in the conversation as well.
God no, that movie sucked.
It
Oh,
was it was
I hated
perfect,
that movie.
dude. It was perfect for what it was supposed to be.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I hated that movie.
it was good. Friday Night Lights is another good one, right?
Yeah.
And that really is kind of for people that don't live in Texas. That's a great movie for you to watch, so you can actually see how big football is here in Texas. Part of the reason why we do this show is because of how big football really is in Texas. I mean, it is really kind of become its own religion.
Yep.
So, that's a great movie for people that don't live in Texas here. It's a great movie for you to watch to understand just how deep those roots run. Okay. But yeah, feel free to throw in your suggestions, what you think is probably, what is your all time best, football movie. And we'll definitely talk about it. So while the fans are doing that and everything, let's go ahead and kick it over to uh, oh, dude, that was kind of a good one too. Let's be honest. Unnecessary roughness. It has a place as well. Let's talk about college football, the rest of college football. So obviously, A&M is going to A&M. They're doing their thing. Um, I'm trying to find an article that shows the football rankings as of as of yesterday. Um, we did talk about this at the beginning of the season, how things were going to be in flux, right?
Hmm.
Georgia, of course, is remaining on top. Michigan is right there with them, nipping at the heels. Um, and it looks like they just kind of flip flop. So like the top 10 looks like they've just kind of flip flopped a little bit. But they're all pretty much, kind of staying at the top. Texas has remained pretty steady at 7. Um, our friends at Oklahoma are thankfully below Texas. Um,
Well, I mean, they were like what top five or whatever
they
until
were.
that loss to Okie State 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Um, and then the rest of it just kind of peters out the way that you would. One big surprising move that I thought, Iowa went from 33 up to 24. So that's kind of surprising. And Iowa's always been, pretty decent Big Ten contender. Um,
Hmm.
but to make a move that big, that makes me wonder about this whole college football ranking system. Like where do they get these numbers from in the first place? So, anyways, uh, just some kind of weird stuff, going on in general. Um, and I mean, what can you say? Oklahoma State was ranked, and now they're ranked now at number 6. They've dropped 9 positions. Um,
No, 17.
I'm sorry.
I'm looking at the playoff rankings right now. The CFP rankings.
Oh, see, no, I'm just
So,
looking at the season rankings right now.
oh, okay.
Yeah,
I'm looking at the
so
important one because that's what's going to make
that's
the
true.
playoff team.
That's true.
So,
That's true. Um, so speaking of let me open that up on the CBS app and see where we're at. I don't see any predictions as to who's going. It's just the rankings.
yeah,
Um,
right now, I mean, it's still top four: Ohio State, Georgia, Michigan, Florida State.
Yeah.
So
So unless somebody surges from the ranks and the top four have any kind of drop off or anything like that, I mean that's pretty much what you're going to be looking at for the playoffs.
yeah,
Uh, but it's
and you know
still
you're gonna have Alabama and Georgia
mhm,
meet in the SEC championship probably,
yeah,
um, and then so that if Alabama wins that, that'll throw a monkey wrench into everything because currently they've got 7 teams ahead of them, but I'd like to see a I say that sarcastically a playoff college football playoff without an SEC team in it. When damn near 3/4 of it are ranked in the top 25. So
yep. Now let me ask you a question because this has been something that I've been wanting to kind of dive into, especially with the recent moves that have happened. And Brian, you'll appreciate this. What are your thoughts on Jim Harbaugh and the Michigan program?
you know, my overall thought is if you are getting your sign stolen, that's your fault. Uh, if you're not changing your signs and all that stuff, and somebody comes and watches a game of yours and they figure out what you're running, 2 games, 3 games down the line or whatever, that's on you. That's not on the program. I understand that it's a rule that you're not supposed to let staff members go visit games and all that stuff, but I think it's a stupid rule. Uh,
Yeah,
we've got all access TV. You can watch the replays of these games, and uh, you can watch the replays and you can see what's going on the sidelines. Anyways, you don't have to have a staff member at these games. I think it's a dumb rule. Uh, I mean, it is a rule that they broke, so you know I understand the punishment. Since you did break a rule, you deserve a punishment. I just don't think it should be a rule, and I really don't think it's that big of a deal.
yeah. I tend to agree with you on this one, except for the fact that um, nobody really knows what Jim Harbaugh's involvement with this is. It has not been successfully proven that he had anything directly to do with it. He wasn't planning his coaches at any of the staff or at any of the other games, telling them to steal signs or anything like that. So, do you punish a guy for something that he arguably didn't have any responsibility with?
Well,
It
yes, because he is everything. He is the leader of that program. So I mean, just in personal, both you and I, we're both managers at our jobs. It stops at us. We are,
it
if something
does.
goes wrong, ultimately it falls on us. And it's the same with a coach in the program, uh, ultimately it stops at him. Whether he knew about it or not, which honestly, do we think he didn't know what was going on? I mean, that's a little, you know,
Probably
naive
not.
to think that he didn't know what was going on. Now, obviously,
Yeah.
he's gonna cover himself and plausible deniability and all that good stuff. But uh, yeah, absolutely. Like what Rick said, he is responsible. At the end of the day. So
And I don't necessarily disagree with you again. I just would like to know, like, if he didn't know, how could he have done anything to punish his staff? Like, we didn't even really give him an opportunity to plead his case or say anything about it. And I'm not trying to make excuses, right? Ultimately, he is responsible for it. Um, but if he knew nothing of it, if he knew nothing was going on or anything like that, uh, and then you drop the axe on him and not any of his staff or anything like that, that's a little bit, that's kind of a double standard. And I understand that they can't really necessarily clear out a whole entire staff,
yeah,
um, but that's ultimately probably what should have happened, right? Um, Rig, you're right, but on the same token, um, again, if you don't know that they're doing anything wrong, for you to be punished for them doing things that you don't know about. Like, is that right? That's kind of the point that I'm getting at. If he didn't know anything about it, at least give him an opportunity to, plead his case and
And we don't, I imagine he probably did to the NCAA higher ups. Like he probably had his chance to have. He went in there
maybe.
and I don't think they would conduct an investigation and do all this stuff without talking to him. So
I'm
I
sure they, yeah, I'm
they,
sure they
they
talked to him, but
yeah, they had to have. He had to plead his case and kind of whatever to them. Are we ever going to get the full answer and all that stuff? Probably not.
no, no.
But
I feel like they were out for blood from the very beginning, though, and that's kind of where it's like,
yeah,
I don't know,
I agree
but
with that. I do, but and like I said, it's he broke a rule, but I kind of think it's a stupid rule. So
yep,
you
and
know,
he definitely does have to pay for it. So, Rig, you'll be happy to know that CBS, as of 10 hours ago, has your Ohio State Buckeyes ranked as number 2 in the college football rankings. Um,
but number one in the playoff rankings. So
yeah.
there you go.
So again, they're going to
So
show up.
number one
They're going to
seed, so
Ohio
y'all can
State.
get whipped by the number 4 seed again this year.
Ouch, ouch. Said with nothing but love, though. Um, okay, so we beat college football to death. Hey Brian, remember a couple of shows ago when we said AFL is going to AFL?
We did.
Apparently they AFL'd and
They're AFLing all over the place.
they came out guns blazing. There have been so many announcements since the last time that we've talked, which has been what, 2 weeks now.
Yeah, we took 2 weeks off. We
Yeah,
had Halloween, and then last week I was hunting, and you were, had friends in. So
yeah. So, um, the AFL has just gone absolutely crazy. They have announced a whole bunch of teams. I'm trying to find an article or I probably should just go to their website, right? And just tell you all the teams that they've announced so far. Let's see
if you go to their website, it still hasn't been updated. So
it hasn't.
no, which is
Well, that's sad.
yeah. I mean, this is I think their
Okay.
social media and all that stuff is up to date. But yeah, they're not updating the website, which is kind of laughable to me. But
I mean, you're not
welcome to our new website where there's nothing.
right. You're not necessarily wrong. So the most recent update from the AFL is that Phoenix, Arizona. Hang on. Phoenix, Arizona is getting a team. This is from July 18th. That's pretty old. I hate how X does not sort things the proper way, like in chronological order. Um, but there's the Minnesota Myth as of today, I believe, about 8 hours ago, that was announced. So there's a bunch of teams that are coming out, and some of them are actually kind of surprising. Um, of course, we're still waiting to hear if Austin is going to get a team in this or not. And then there's also even talk that they're going to be, because they've trying to garner so much interest in this, that they're even going to bring back the AFL 2, which was like the second division. It's a smaller division, maybe a little less talent, stuff like that, but they're going to be bringing back this second division. And so it's really kind of surprising.
Let's do the AFL first before they worry about one season of AFL, and then they can do AFL 2. How about that?
I don't disagree. I don't
Or
disagree.
you know what? How about they update their damn website before they launch a second AFL?
That would cost money. So you just don't even worry about that, okay? What we do know though is that San Antonio, again, we've talked about it several times. I'm almost actually excited for the season, right? San Antonio stepped up into the IFL. They're going to be there with the Frisco Fighters, right? our friend whose name we won't mention, Rig knows exactly who I'm talking about. Um, his Frisco Fighters are going to be in the IFL. Well, there's going to be some really good Texas games that are going to be
Oh
coming
yeah.
out of that, and just some good games in general, right? We've already talked about the quality of the broadcast, how much better it is in the IFL. Hopefully, the AFL does the same thing and produces a good quality product. We'll have to wait and see, of course. But San Antonio went out and got Castronova and all these different players, right? Because in the NAL, it's the Ironman football that we talked about where you're playing both sides of the ball. And now you don't have to do that, right?
Yep.
So now you can have a 53-man roster. I don't know if they actually have a full 53-man roster. I'd have to look into that, but they are going to have um, players on both sides of the ball. You don't have to, you can specialize in one thing now. And I really think with the new head coach and Castronova taking, the control of the ball on the field, that San Antonio is going to put up a really good product. And I'm
Oh, dude,
really interested to see how that's going to be.
we're coming into the league and we're coming in swinging.
Yeah.
Like you said, dude. I mean, the just all the signings, all that stuff. I'm like, I agree with you, man. I'm looking forward to this season, and I'm ready to get your guns up.
Yep. And so offline, we probably need to talk about that. So we'll visit on that in a little
Yeah,
bit. But speaking of uh, getting your guns up, apparently there's some teams that didn't get that message in the NFL, specifically my Green Bay Packers. We have been an absolute dumpster fire. Okay. And it's not any one thing. It literally is the perfect storm this year. Everything is
yeah.
going wrong. If it's not Jordan Love, it's our receivers. If it's not our receivers, it's our run game. If it's not our run game, it's our defense that can't seem to stop anything. Brian, I know you were excited because you got to watch your precious Cowboys absolutely trounce the Eagles, right?
Giants.
Or I'm
We didn't
sorry,
try.
the Giants. The
Yeah,
Giants.
yeah. The Giants.
My bad. But it's still a division rival, right? It'd be
Yeah.
like it'd
I
be
mean,
like
it's the
Green Bay
Giants.
beating up on Chicago, right?
Yeah.
Um, Brian, Green Bay is so bad they can't even lose correctly and get that first round or that first pick in the draft. Okay. Um, we had the lead on the
Oh, you know
Steelers.
who the odds are to get the first pick in the draft this year?
Who's that?
The Giants.
Yeah. I mean, but they'll find a way to botch that too. And Chicago will
Yeah.
end up getting it, I'm sure. Um, we had the lead. We had the freaking lead. And we lost the lead. And then we came from behind and drove all the way down the field and had a chance for like a 20 something yard, 30 something yard end zone play and screwed that up too. So, and part of that is on Jordan Love, right? Part of that is on the head coach,
Yeah.
who I can't seem to remember his name right now, and it's okay because he's probably not going to be there next year, honestly,
You
which
think
is sad.
so?
Honestly, I really don't know. I think if he doesn't turn it around, he needs to be worried about his job. I'm pretty sure the defensive coordinator is gone after this year. In fact,
Oh, have one?
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. I
Well,
thought
no,
it was.
we have somebody in that position. I don't know
Yeah.
that he's actually a defensive coordinator though. I think he's more busy talking to the beer guys and trying to figure out what his next career move is because he's gone. He's gone,
He
Jack.
gone.
Yeah. Um, and it's sad because he was a guy that they brought back because he actually was a pretty decent defensive coordinator. Um, but we lost some key players to free agency market and did not replace them with quality players, and we've just been hurting ever since. We lost Adrian Amos. We lost one of the brain isn't working today. We lost one of our very important linebackers. I believe it was Preston Smith. Um, there were two Smiths and one of them left. I just can't remember which one it is right now. But yeah, things are just bad in Green Bay. So anybody else that's out there that's a Packers fan like me, I feel your pain. Guys, remember, we've had 20 plus years of relevance in the league. It's about time that we suck for a little while. So
Yeah.
get comfortable, keep cheering for your team. It's going to hurt. I know. Trust me, I know. But there's some incredible beer and whiskey out there that will help numb that pain for the next couple of years until we can become relevant again. And it will happen. I promise you, it will happen again.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, well, you
Lightning
can't
will
have a
strike in
team
Lambeau.
like with the legacy that the Packers have and
Right.
not come out of this. Yeah, it might take a few years, but y'all will be back. So
Now, what what is interesting is I know you're not you're the first one to say it, but based on Dak Prescott's performance, okay, if he could play like that every game, would he be the guy?
if he could play like what, like he played against the 2-8 Giants,
Yeah.
well, yeah, but he did that against the 2-8 Giants. I don't give a damn about the 2-8 Giants. I care about the 49ers. I care about the Eagles. You know what? Dak didn't have a terrible game against the Eagles, but you know what? He still wasn't that guy. You know what? On a fourth down play and fourth and goal, you need it. He didn't throw the ball out far enough for the tight end to get the ball over the goal line. He got tackled 6 inches short. Not that guy. On 2-point conversion where they scored again, he was rushing to the goal line, stretched out. But you know what? He stepped out. He didn't know where his foot was. Not that guy.
Wow. So how do you really feel about it, Brian?
Do I need to get the shirt out again? I'll go grab the shirt.
No. No, but you
No,
should.
I told you about this earlier today. I'm getting so annoyed with now all of a sudden because Dak plays awesome against an absolute dumpster fire of a team worse than your Packers. Now, oh, he's up there with the best quarterbacks in the league. Oh, he's got a shot at MVP. They were talking about it on the broadcast. Oh, he may be the MVP. He's an amazing quarterback. Look at all the stuff he could do. Yeah, he can do that against the Giants. You know what? He can't do that. He can't do that in the playoffs. So until he does, he's not that guy.
Okay. Now, if he does it in the playoffs, are you going to take it back?
If he plays like that guy in the playoffs, I will tell him he's playing like that guy.
I would hold it until he wins the Super Bowl.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
But you know what? Hey, you know what? If he goes out and he plays amazing and the Cowboys score 35 points and the defense absolutely sucks and, they lose, well, that may not be on him. So maybe not a Super Bowl, but you know what? You need to show it other than a wild card round. All right? Let's
yeah,
get to an NFC championship first. We're going to talk about being that guy. Let's at least get to the NFC championship.
I'll give you that one. I'll definitely give you that one. Okay. So
Need some
for
water after that.
for the remainder of the show, I know
Well,
like
actually, you know what? We're still talking about NFL. Did you see like the games this weekend? I think they had 6 games that were won by like walk off field goals. It was crazy. Like it was like NFL record or whatever. But I don't know if you saw last night's game, but the way
I watched some of it.
did you watch the end of it though?
I was in and out watching the game. Yeah.
So the Buffalo went down to score, took a lead, um, and then with a minute and a half left, whatever it was, something like that, maybe less than that. Well, the Broncos come down and they get in field goal range quick, and then they get rushed out. They kick a field goal like with 4 seconds left or whatever. Field goal goes wide right, but flags on the play. Buffalo has 12 men on the field, and they got a re-kick. And just the faces on the Buffalo sidelines is, are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
So it was, I don't have an allegiance to any one of those teams, so I just thought it was hilarious.
It it's that I mean that's pretty bad. And the worst part was that Broncos were what 3-5 going into that game.
Yeah.
and Bills were 5-4. And that
Yeah,
was
but Bills have been playing like crap lately, and the Broncos have actually been playing pretty good. So, I mean, I'm not surprised that they won. I just, I love parity when it's not my team. So
oh, of
stuff like
course,
that, I
of
enjoy.
course. I'm really surprised. Well, I shouldn't say I'm really surprised, but I was kind of disheartened to see that the Raiders won, just because. I mean, Carr is Carr's definitely not the guy. Okay, he should be killing it in New Orleans, and they're not where they are supposed to be. Right, they're
Yeah,
5-5 for the season right now. I really wanted to see Carr do well. I wanted to see him plug into New Orleans with that attitude, with that fire to try and prove something. And he is Derek Carr. So part of it is not having Devonte Adams. I know that's a big thing for him. And I know there were some
not having one of
problems.
the best receivers in the league is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
You know,
Well, and he's got such a long history with Devonte. They played college together, right? They've been friends for a long, long time.
yeah,
They've just had this magical chemistry on the field, and that didn't really translate out for their time in Las Vegas. And I'm sure part of it was play calling, part of it was probably Carr as well. But I really wanted to see him do so good this year, and he's just not living up to it.
yeah.
But he also, I believe he was out this last Sunday with a shoulder injury, so he didn't even play in this game. So it's really, his opportunities are really starting to fade fast. And if he doesn't do something soon, man, he's not going to be a starter for very much longer. So
No, no, this kind of I enjoy watching Carr. I like watching him play. But like you said, he's kind of one of those. He makes some mistakes that he's as long as he's been in the league, he shouldn't be making.
right,
And so, yeah, he's his window on being a starter is running out.
yep.
So
So here's what's really sad, right? Thursday night's game was probably the the hardest game to watch, right? Because it's the 1-7 Panthers were going up against the 2-7 Bears.
you know, I got a really good nap during that game.
Yeah,
It was, dude. It was a solid it was a top 10 nap.
yeah. It was that bad. It was that bad of a game, and for Chicago to win by
I mean, the
three
best part of
points,
the game was the freaking the Kelsey interview. You
yeah,
know, and I think that was the most excited that Al Michaels was the entire game. Other than that, he was falling asleep.
true. So it was a painful game. But so that's kind of the latest updates with the NFL. Obviously, Cowboys are riding high. Green Bay is up against the ropes, not really sure what they're doing. Hopefully, they can figure it out, or at least lose in style and get themselves set up in a good position for the draft picks. Right now, the last part of our show. We have not been talking. We have not been speculating. We have not even been looking at any of the XFL, USFL merger rumors, not getting involved in any of that. Well, tonight's going to be a little bit different. Okay. We're not going to talk about rumors or anything like that. What we are going to talk about, though, is the fact that right now, all the signs, all the sources, everything that we've been looking at, trying to get some kind of an indication of what's going on here. San Antonio is safe. San
Yeah,
Antonio is 100% safe. Okay. That's because of the fans. That's because of the ticket sales. That's because of the community involvement. Shout out to James Carr for everything that he's doing in the community. Literally every weekend, going out and doing stuff for the San Antonio Brahmas across the city. He's going out to, the rural areas like, Eagle Pass, Del Rio. He's doing all these things to try and raise awareness for the team and support all these different causes. So, James, if you're watching, man, you truly are the unsung hero of the Brahmas Nation. Like,
absolutely.
my hat is off to you. But we're kind of at a crucial point right now, and this is the reason why I wanted to bring this up. Okay, we know San Antonio is safe, at least for right now, but we don't know how long San Antonio is going to be safe. Okay, what guarantees our safety, what guarantees our spot in this new league, whatever it's going to be, is us, the fans.
Yep.
So if you have not gone out and gotten your season tickets yet, go get your tickets. Contact James, contact some of the other guys. I'm trying to remember some of the other ticket reps that we have. But Adam Pena is my ticket rep. Reach out to somebody with the Brahms organization. If they'll even work out payment plans, okay? And they're such friendly, good people. And this is good, cheap, wholesome family entertainment, okay?
Absolutely. It's a great time, and it's not, you know, it's not super. It's not expensive. It's feasible for most people. So
Mm-hmm. Good seats can be gotten for around $20.
yeah.
You can even get decent seats for probably around like 10, $15, right? You can get season tickets for, what, like $100 a seat. Okay. And that guarantees your spot to be there at the game. And I'm telling you, we've seen some of the player signings. We've seen some of the things that are going on. We've seen some of the moves that are happening across the league. We've talked to some of these players, in fact. I mean, you saw the people that I was interviewing at the Orlando showcase.
Yep.
Some of those folks are going to wind up on our squad. And I'm telling you, they're hungry. They want to come to a city like San Antonio who has the fan base that gets behind the team. So now it's our time. We have to get behind the team. We have to support this organization. If you fans want football, this is what we're going to get. This is what we can sustain here. So we need you folks to go out, get your season tickets, get a hold of somebody, get those things, payment plan, whatever, get it going. Because before you know it, the season is going to start, right? And we need butts in those seats.
Yep.
We were averaging around 20,000 a game this last season. Let's at least do that. If not, try and bump those numbers.
And it's not just San Antonio too. Houston. For the Roughnecks fans, there's some not sure about your team, and I know we said this a few weeks ago. You know what? If 15,000 people go and buy Roughneck season tickets, they're going to have a hard time saying, you know what, we should take this other team instead of the Roughnecks. So, Houston fans as well, go support your team, support your home team, and go get season tickets. You know what? The South Oklahoma team, y'all do the same too. Go buy tickets, support your team. It goes for everybody. It's not just San Antonio. It's all the teams need to have their fan support if whatever happens in the future is going to make it.
Right. And in the new iteration of whatever the league looks like, maybe your team might go away. Okay. But that doesn't mean you need to stop supporting the league, because what they're doing right now is essentially cost cutting measures to make sure that they can make this thing financially viable. Once they can get it sustainable, then they will start looking to expand again. Okay. And so let's say Seattle is on the bubble, right? Maybe you lose your team. Don't lose interest in the league, because all that means is most likely that 2025, your team is going to be coming back. And maybe this time it'll just be the Dragons like it used to be, rather than the Sea Dragons. Okay. Who knows? Salt Lake City may be on the radar, or our friends in San Diego, right? San Diego Fleet had one of the most incredible followings next to San Antonio. Maybe they're going to be on the radar, looking to make a splash there. So get behind this organization, support your team, okay, and get involved, okay. Speaking of getting involved, the Roughnecks fans are actually rallying at the University of Houston game this weekend with petitions in full gear. All the super fans are going to be there, and they're going to be going around trying to raise awareness of the Houston Roughnecks. So be on the lookout for them. They're going to be walking around with petitions.
Awesome. That's cool.
Sign that petition, okay?
Yeah.
Get involved. Make sure that you're doing your part to let the league know that you're going to be there to support the team. And once the league says, hey, we're going to keep the Roughnecks and get rid of the gamblers, then get out there and buy tickets.
Yeah.
Okay? Now, that being the case, I think it's also important that we talk about the event that's coming up on January 13th, right? Because this is being done by the Houston Roughnecks fan base. and being supported by the X Fans Legion. Of course, Brian and I are going to be there for that event. And this is actually going to be January 12th and 13th. We have it set up right now where we're going to be doing a celebrity bowling tournament on the 12th, where we're going to have a couple of teams. They're going to bowl against each other, and it's going to be made up with some of the super fans around the XFL. And then we're also going to have an opportunity for fans to challenge some of the super fans to games. And for that event, we're going to be raising funds for the Houston Animal Defense League, I believe it is. I'll have to look back at the flyer and see specifically who that's going to be benefiting, but I do believe it's the Houston Animal Defense League. Then on Saturday, the 13th, is going to be our sideline domestic violence event, where we're going to be getting together for silent auction and all these different cool things going on. That's going to support the Houston Area Women's Center, right? Hawk. You can look them up, right? Hashtag HAWC. Everything that we're doing is going to support them and their mission to end domestic violence. Okay. Very, very noble cause. And we want to make sure that the not only the Houston fans, but the XFL fans around the league know about this, right? That the XFL is supporting the community, whether you see it or not. Okay. We just want to try and raise awareness to how deeply involved and committed the XFL is to the communities that they're in and the communities that they serve. So again, big shout out to James, who's single-handedly battling this monster here in San Antonio. And we have definitely reached out to him and let him know that we're here to help him out any way we can. Any community events, let us know. We're going to be there. But for right now, we're focusing on this Houston Area Women's Center in Houston, obviously. And just whatever we can do to help them out, right? To let them know that the XFL stands behind their cause and we are there with them to support them any way that we can. Okay, now that being the case, I think that pretty much covers everything that we have. Of course, we're back in the swing of things. Thanksgiving, probably that week, we may do a condensed show just because there's obviously going to, a lot going on, people getting ready for family and stuff like that. But otherwise, we're pretty much on it. Brian, you got anything to add at this point before we log out?
I don't think I do. I think we're pretty much about it.
Okay. So, of course, fans, you know where to find us. Every Tuesday night, we're going to be here. You can find us on, X, formerly Twitter. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on, we're on Twitch now, right? We're getting all kinds of fancy.
Yep.
I believe we have, do we have any other social media? I think
YouTube.
That's it right now.
We are on YouTube.
Oh, we are on the YouTube, right?
Yep. The
and then,
of
course,
views.
You can always find me on my MySpace page. So come check it out. And, we're signing off here for now. But you can also catch us on the Horns Forward podcast, which is every Friday night at 8 o'clock.
Yep.
And this week is going to be a really special episode where we're actually going to be talking to a young man who is coming up through the XFL ranks and trying to realize his dream of being an NFL player. So you're not going to want to miss that one. That being the case, Brian, we'll see you next week, buddy.
See you guys.
Horns forward. We're out.